Good evening and welcome to Port St. Lucie. This is Professor Tefero for Lesson 10 of the Western Response to the Belt and Road. In tonight's lesson, we're going to cover a very interesting conundrum, which will be how the West will respond to the incursion of Russia and the partnership with China in the markets in the EU, which will also affect the United States as well. So let's take it from the top. The goods from China will wind up in Moscow for distribution to one of three basic areas. They will either go to Germany, or they will go to Eastern Europe, or they will go to Scandinavia. Um, each of these places will impact Western trade and market shares, both on country levels and on multinational levels for individual companies. So, um, if it's um, Eastern Europe is a budding marketplace for Western goods, and they're going to have their market share greatly impacted by inexpensive Chinese goods flooding the market there. And that will hurt several Fortune 500 companies in Eastern Europe. Western response might be to offer similar low prices, to take a loss, or to somehow gain the cooperation of Eastern European countries one by one in special deals. But I don't really see that happening because that takes a lot of work and coordination and offensive uh, thought processes. The West and the United States have a defensive thought process when it comes to China's Belt and Road. So since they're on the defense, they're going to wait to see what happens. That's their favorite term. Let's wait and see what happens. Well, what's going to happen is you're going to lose market share in several hundred areas in Western multinationals, and that's what's going to happen. And then it might be too late to do anything about it, or you're certainly going to take a substantial loss regardless of what you do. Um, if the goods go to Germany, that will not really impact Western businesses that much because the country that has the inside track there is Italy, because they have bullet trains that go directly from Florence into Germany, even just as fast as the trains can come into Germany from Russia. So why wait for all of that material to come in from Russia when you can get it from Italy that much faster? Of course, the overland route is by bullet train, and that gives Russia an advantage for time. Time and money is very important in business. So Russia may have an advantage when it comes to time. If you want those goods right away, um, and you want them on a consistent basis, you might want to deal with Russia if you're Germany. Whereas Italy can provide those goods at a substantial savings, but you might not be able to get them right away. Or you might not be able to get them consistently because the maritime route is just not as consistent as an overland bullet train route. Um, that's something to consider for all of these countries that are involved. The third part of the puzzle here is Scandinavia. Um, the West has a great deal invested in Scandinavia, and Scandinavia has a great deal of trade with the West and the EU. Now, the EU may be leaning towards China in this deal. And if the EU leans towards China, then Scandinavia is going to start leaning towards China and away from the EU if they're making enough money on the Belt and Road. But as they are not primary partners, they're going to get the leftovers from Russia, and Russia's not very famous for sharing equally with other countries. They're going to take the lion's share of the profits and business on the Belt and Road, the northern route, and the Scandinavian countries will get what's left over. Probably not enough to defray them from the EU or trade with the United States. So I see the Scandinavian countries staying in the Western camp. I see Germany also staying in the Western camp. Um, but the Eastern European countries may be flocking back to Mother Russia. So that may be a unfortunate um, result of the Belt and Road in the overland route in the north. So we'll see what happens and what transpires. But these are some of the major players and some of their strategies. And these are some of the responses that the West is going to have. The West is going to have to deal with these problems, especially in Eastern Europe and Scandinavia. So until next time, this is Professor DeFerro wishing you a happy and healthy night, and everyone take care. Bye bye.